English debate.
Miss Hikmah Prapitasari, the Honorable Timekeeper, the Honorable Affirmative Team, and the Honorable Opposition Team, and all of the audience. Good evening to all of us who we are present on Saturday and the meeting today. Before starting, let's introduce myself. My name is Dewi Sartika as the chairperson, and Siti Amelia as the timekeeper. The English debate motion today is disposable allow mass production electric gas in society. Today debate consists of two tenants. They are the affirmative or government team and opposition team. Representing the affirmation government team, we have our first speaker is Siti Himatul Aliah as the Prime Minister, and the second speaker is Sufiarli Putra Gemilang as the Deputy Prime Minister. The third speaker is Andina Nabilah Gustriani as the government member. The final speaker is Sonia Putri as the government whip. The next from opposition team, the first speaker is Sister Nurmaeti as the opposition leader opposition. The second speaker is Fawwaz as the deputy opposition. The third speaker is Lena Nurfadillah as the opposition member. The final speaker Mila and Hasanah as opposition whip. Before starting, let's invite the timekeeper, Sister Amelia, to explain the debate timing. Time is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Honorable Miss Hikmah Prapitasari as educator in this debate, your honorable all speakers in this debate, your honorable chairperson, and ladies and gentlemen, I'm Amelia as timekeeper. I want to explain the time of the debate. Each speaker has 7 minutes to speak with the opening speech or argument. Speech of more than 7 minutes and more than is about 15 seconds is punishable. POI can only be offered between the first minute mark and the 6 minute speech mark. The opposing team, the 6 minute speech mark, the opposing team can also request POI or point of information. When I tap on it means you have passed on minutes and the POI has been included. When I double tick, it means you have spent 6 minutes and the POI has closed. To submit POI, a member must then put one hand on his head and wait for the speaker to accept or reject your POI. You only have 15 seconds to submit your question or claim and no more than that. Meanwhile, a search person who gets POI must provide information whether to give permission or not by saying no, thank you, or yes, please. Then I tap 3 times, it means your time is up. And when I tap repeatedly, means you have to stop your presentation because 7 minutes and 1 second have passed. And then I mention the time each speaker has spent, then some information related to the debate time. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Sister Amelia, the timekeeper. The English debate motion today is disposable allow mass production electric gas in society. Let's start. Okay, the audience, let's invite the affirmative team to state the topic. From the Siti Himatul Aliah as the Prime Minister, time is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Honorable educator, honorable chairperson, honorable timekeeper, the honorable opponent team and my team, and all of the audience. Let me introduce my team as government team, and my name is Himatul, the first speaker. Before I'm going to explain about my argument, I'm going to explain about this argument, and the title of motion is allow mass produce in electric cars in society. And I will tell you that Sufiarli Putra Gemilang as the first speaker will focus about the decision of electric cars in society as well as the disadvantage of non-electric cars. For the next, Andina as the third speaker will focus the fact that non-electric cars are not visible, the advantage of electric cars, and focus that electric cars can improve the future. And the last one is Sonia Putri as the fourth speaker will focus and conclude all the argument from the first speaker until the third speaker. Electric cars is cars driven by one or more electric motors using only energy stored in the battery compared to the internal combustion engine. A quiet electric car doesn't have excess emissions and overall lower emissions. Electric cars were very popular at the end of the 17th century and the beginning of the 20th century. But then its popularity fell due to increasing combustion engine technology and the price of gasoline-fueled vehicles was getting cheaper. The energy crisis in the 1970s and the 1980s once raised little interest in the electric cars, but only the 2000s new vehicles manufacturers paid serious attention to electric vehicles. In the United States and the European Union in 2020, the total cost of ownership of electric vehicles was recently cheaper than the equivalent car. Because of lower fuel and maintenance costs, electric cars can be done at various charging stations. This charging station can be installed at home and public areas. Worldwide, 6.6 million electric plug-in cars sold in 2021. Modern double cells and achieved a market sales of 9% of the new global car market. Electric cars represent 71% of car plug-in sales in 2021. In December 2021, there were 19 million electric cars plug-ins on the world road. Many countries have established government incentives for plug-in electric. For plug-in electric vehicles, tax credits, subsidies, and other non-monetary incentives, while some countries have brought the sales phase of fossil fuel cars to reduce air pollution and limit climate change. And of that, I agree with this motion, because 10 million electric cars will be on the world's roads in 2020. It was a pivotal year for the electrification of mass market transportation. Sales of electric cars were 4.6% of total car sales around the world. The ability of electric vehicles must expand. The new initiatives for critical battery technology were launched, and this progress advanced in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic and its related economic downturn and lockdowns. Thank you.
Okay, for the first speaker from Affirmative, Aliah, 5 minutes to 15 seconds.
Okay, thank you, Sister Amelia, the timekeeper. Thank you, Siti Himatul as the Prime Minister. Then let's invite the first speaker from opposition team to present the statement. The first speaker is Sister Nurmaeti as the leader opposition. Time is yours.
Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Your Excellency, Ms. Makravita, as educator, the Honorable Chairperson, timekeeper, the Affirmative team, and my representative, and also the audience. Before I go into my argument, I will introduce our team. Under my team, I will focus on environment point of view. My second speaker, Fauzan, will focus on security point of view. My third speaker, Lena, will focus on economic and social point of view. My last speaker is Mila, will give conclusion and strengthen our group. Okay, as we know, our mission today is this house bridge, allow mass-produced electric cars in society. First of all, I would like to define our mission today. This house is government. Wood is what or will be carried out. Mass produced is produced in large quantities. Electric is produced in electricity. Car is a vehicle that can carry a small number of passengers.
that are the meaning of the motion. So I really disagree with this motion. Electric car are car electric, use electric power when the energy is encoded in the battery. To make the battery requires raw material in the form of nickel and lithium. The two main components are obtained by mining. Mining is a condition with the risk pollution or environmental damage. There are no mining activity that have no potential to pollute. Stated by Georgie Pring, mining is inherent with environmental degradation. Mining resources effect on environmental media, namely air, land, flora and fauna, and safety of individuals, social order, cross-border, and even global. Mining can cause environmental problems nationally. For example, of damage from mining are landslides, erosion, and flooding. And for example, is in North Sulawesi, the mountains which are cut down by trees can cause flash flood that hit 50 villages in sub-district. In addition, nickel smelting, which increasingly intense, have an impact. The smelting will produce waste in the form of acid waste, in large quantity of full of heavy metals. Where will this waste be carried? The aquatic environment will be segregated. Billions of toxic waste will be discharged. For example, I took from BBC.com, the damage to the water that occurred due to the disposal of the waste was toxic mild that inundated several cities in Brazil. Waste news might have polluted the sea along the coast of Espírito State. Electric cars that are mass produced in the community have a bad impact, especially on life and ecosystem. And last I say, I really disagree with this motion. If government allow mass produced electric cars in society. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, for the first speaker from opposition team, Nurmaeti, spend time 3 minutes and 33 seconds.
Okay, thank you, the timekeeper, Sister Amelia. Thank you, Sister Nurmaeti, as the leader of opposition. The next from Affirmative team, the second speaker is Sufiarli Putra Gemilang as the Deputy Prime Minister. Time is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
I will be the first speaker. Are you mistaken? Then you was said agree with this motion.
I disagree.
You said agree. I agree.
Disagree. I said disagree.
Really?
Yes.
I agree with this motion because it can protect our earth from environmental pollution. Vehicles and humans are something that is difficult to spread in our country because the majority of population in Indonesia prefers to ride vehicles that are vehicles. There are many impacts such as air pollution and many more, and these are some of the negative impacts of non-electric vehicles. Hazardous gases such as CO2, NOx are often found in the smoke released from vehicles because these harmful gases have a negative impact on the community environment. Cases of fatigue or even death occur when the level of HP or hemoglobin and CO in the blood increase to 60% of the total hemoglobin of the blood or more. It can cause instant death. Non-electric vehicles is are used fuel oil to operate. Therefore, non-electric vehicles can result in waste of petroleum energy. In this era, there have been technological developments in the realm of vehicles, namely electric vehicles. Electric vehicles can reduce air pollution caused by non-electric vehicles. Electric vehicles can also reduce the use of fuel oil. I agree with this motion because it can save our earth from pollution. Thank you.
Okay, the second speaker from Affirmative team, Sufiarli, stand time 2 minutes and 26 seconds.
Okay, thank you, Sister Amelia, the timekeeper. Thank you, Sufiarli Putra Gemilang, as the Deputy Prime Minister. The next from opposition team, the second speaker is Fawwaz, as the Deputy Opposition. Time is yours.
Okay, Your Excellencies, Mr. Sartika as the teacher, Honorable Timekeeper, Honorable Chairperson, Honorable Recruitment Team, and also my team, and also all audience. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
My name is Fauzan. I am second speaker from opposition team. Here I will discuss about debate about security system of electric cars. Electric cars can move if the battery is charged. Okay, so in Indonesia, charging station is much, but only in the big city like Jakarta, Tangerang, Bali, and the other big city. My data can be obtained from compassionate.com. But the problem here, if we live in the small city in Indonesia, is there a charging station? Or if we go to our village and there nothing charging station, so what can we do if the battery is empty? That's make a new problem. And secondly, electric cars is not have the sound from the music. This can increase the number of traffic accidents. For example, in driving on the highway, of course, we can now there is a driver behind us from the sound of vehicles. Next problem is lack of workshop electric cars. When we on the way and there is a system crash, but we can find the workshop of electric cars, what must we do? And if we repair the car at the official repair shop, that will take a long time. This very unstoppable. Yes.
That you say that we cannot charging the electric cars in when we get a vacation or anything else on the road, but actually in California we also have recharging electric car. Then we can bring it to everywhere. Then we can recharge it in everywhere and every time we want. So what do you mean by you say that we only have that we don't? I mean we can recharging the electric car.
Okay. I speak about Indonesian people. Yes, using electronic cars in Indonesia. If in Australia or America or the other country, yes, if there is much of charging station, but in Indonesia is
sorry, please. This motion is in society, not only from Indonesia. So I can speak my opinion.
Okay. So I disagree with this innovation because there are much negative things for use. Thank you for your attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
For the second speaker from opposition team, Fauzan Fawwaz spent time 4 minutes and 11 seconds.
Thank you, the timekeeper Sister Amelia. Thank you, Fauzan Fawwaz as the deputy opposition. The next from affirmative team, the three speaker is Andina, Nabilah, Gustriani as the government member. Time is yours.
The honorable educator, the honorable chairperson, the honorable opponent team, and the honorable timekeeper, the honorable all of the audience. Then before I'm going to my arguments and I explain more about these motions, and I would like to introduce myself first. My name is Andina Gustriani as a chair speaker, and here I agree with this motion that this house will allow mass purchase and electric cars in society. Then I want to explain a little bit more about the impact of the electric car in the future. Then we can also implement in our life from now on, and be having a new habit from now on by using an electric car. Then why? And this is I have the second point that I want to explain the reason why we need to change our benefits into use an electric car. So the electric car can save our future life. It's not only our future life, it can save our life from now on because of air pollution. Yeah. The first point that I want to explain is electric cars are saving the climate. Electric car is saving our life, our planet from the climate change. We already know that climate change issues and global warming issues is the biggest issues that we already have from now on. Then what is the biggest problems from the air pollution that we get? It's from transportation. Then the largest source of the climate pollution, and it's only from the transportation because we already know the people in this world is all having their work, then they need to go to everywhere, so they need the transportation, right? So according to the Earth Justice that I was searching before, this is the verified website that I've read, and they say the emission from the cars, trucks, bad for health, and it's not only for the air place, yeah.
Okay, we'll talk about the pollution. Here that in electric cars also we need the batteries. So the production of batteries also can give the pollution for us. Is it I got from the report in analysis of American research. It is 90% pollution that because the production of the batteries. How about that? Yeah. I'm searching it before on the university says that the energy of the battery that they have on the electric car is only a half of the problem pollution that we get if we just only use a non-electric car. Because non-electric car is the massive and it's the biggest thing worse that we have when it got the pollution. And then I would like to give you an explanation of the bad impact that the Earth Justice says that emissions from cars and trucks bad for health. It causes an asthma, bronchitis, cancer, or even premature death and heart attack. So after COVID-19 pandemic, a respiratory disease study by Harvard University found a striking association between the long-term exposure to harmful fine particulate matter COVID-19 mortality in US that it causes the pollution. So in the university, each gallon of the gasoline is purchased at the gas station carries with $3,080,000 in whole, and anything else that is the big cost, the big number cost of the money, right? Then second is the benefits that we will get in the electric car. Don't worry about the cost, don't worry about the anything else. We already know we can get our money back from our federal, state, and the local incentives
to bring down the cost of buying and leasing an electric car. So most drivers charging their car in the night. When they sleep, then will use it productively, and this is bring a new alternative of the workplace because they can work tomorrow more happily.
Right, please?
Yes.
Okay, that is say more happy. Hey, it is changed about our routine in daily life. So when we have to use the electric cars, we have to charge it in night. And how if we are to forget? Example like our phone, we always forget. Yes, that the routine will change and it's more difficult, not easier for us. Thank you.
Then I would like to ask you, and what if we forget to put the gasoline on our basic car? We also can get the drive, right? It's the same. It's not about the people that use the electric car. It's about the electric car itself. Then having electric car is clean up our planet Earth. It's the fact that we need to know that we can implement it in our lifestyle. Because in this new era, the full electric, the car is electric, our smartphone is electric, and everything is electric. So it's possible to use a car electric from now on. Then some 93% Californians are failed to meet federal state's air health best, and it's harmful their kids, their children, or even the majors. Further, California and the world are already seeing the impacts of the greenhouse gases climate change because they change into the basic habits that using a non-electric car to use an electric car. Then, with this electric car, you will reduce our pollution from the bad pollution and gas pollution around you and cut the greenhouse and protect our future life. Thank you.
Then for the third speaker from Affirmative team, Andina, spend time 6 minutes and 19 seconds.
Okay, thank you, the timekeeper, Sister Amelia. Thank you, Andina and Gustriani as the government member. The next from opposition team, the three speaker is Lena Nurfadillah as the opposition. Time is yours.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Honorable to the educator, honorable to the government team, honorable to opposition, honorable the chairperson and timekeeper, and also all the audience here. So my name is Lena Nurfadillah. I am second speaker or the opposition member of opposition. Here I will talk in economic and social point of view. So the pictures in this issues, electric cars is a car that using electric energy for that movement. And it is not new innovations or something new today because in 80 and 19 years this have to popular, but it was suppressed by conventional cars. So it means the conventional car is no better than electric cars. So it's related to our motion today that is this has put a low mass production electric cars in society. But before I'm going to my argument, I will debate the second speaker and the third speaker from the different team. First speaker, you say about the pollution, and this pollution they say will reduce when we have to use the electric cars. But in fact, it said no, because why? I got the fact or the analysis or research by American lab that 19% of the pollution was given by production of the batteries. So how if all the people that use the electric cars, so the production of the battery is more high, and it also gives high pollution. So this is not solving. And then this the other result for the third speaker, they say is the innovation is change this good is better for us, but as I said before, is have that electric cars that is in 80 and 19 years, and it's give the fact that the conventional cars more better because all people in the society now use the conventional cars. Okay, that's we're going to my argument. First is about the economic point of view. This economic point of view, I will talk in the Sartika
infrastructure and production of the electric cars. As I said earlier, an electric cars use budgets to make the cars movement or operation, and because of that, the government should prepare a many number of money for make the infrastructure and also the production. And if this have to give us a bad impact for the society, also for the government and for us here. According to Minister of Energy and Mineral Resources, it takes around 309 billion to build one SPKIU or in bahasa Special Pengisian Kendaraan Listrik Umum, and it's increased to 12 trillions for build this SPKIU. It's very worry and have bad impact, right? When money which should be used for another or urgent things, it's used only for these electric cars. So as the productions, in this production also, we talk about the price of the batteries. The price of the batteries that used by electric cars were very expensive. That I get from the Minister of Industry, the price is 200 millions for one mattress. That only for one mattress, but for the price of the cars, is have price to 600 billion until 2 million until 2 billion price. So it's really expensive. But if in conventional cars, it's only 3 until 5 millions, 300 or 500 millions. Okay, that's the economic point of view that electric cars very have big impact for us. And then I will go to the social point of view. The conflict in social, it's about their routine for charging their car. You know, when we use the cars, the electric cars, we need 3 until 7 or maybe 12 hours to charge battery. But for the conventional cars, we only need a few or 2 minutes to make it full of the energy. And more to show that this also can show about the pyramid of social status in society. When we have electric cars, it shows that I'm rich, you are not rich, and it's like a new conflict in society. And also, we're going to this problem. Electric cars is not solving for the conventional cars because the rich person will have 2 cars or maybe much cars than conventional and electric cars. So how about that? It's not the solution for reduce the pollution. And also the infrastructure of SPKIU only in a big city, what my second speaker has told before, like in Jakarta, Tangerang, Surabaya. So how we are live in a country that don't have SPKIU? It means we have to go there to Jakarta, to Surabaya. It's spend time. And also the conclusion of my argument here, because our question is this helpful, it means our group will give the alternative solution. Here, the government will allow mass product of the electric cars. So it means the government will allow all the society have the electric cars. But the alternative solution or the best solution is the government have to make comfortable for the public transportations. It can make us reduce two problem, that pollution and also traffic jams. So it's more better. And then I got the fake yes please.
You say it causes what? Can you read your? Can you speak your opinion for
The alternative?
No, not what the alternative one is. You say that it's about the causes in the society. You say that I'm rich and I'm broke. Yes, yeah, that's one. Life is about the competition. Then we already know that we have the who can live in this world is who have the strongest brain. And life is about the competition. We already know that in the factory
factory, we have a robot and everything else. So,
Can you start, please?
It's up.
okay.
Lena Nurfadillah, stand time, 7 minutes and 22 seconds.
Okay, thanks for the attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, thank you. The timekeeper is Amelia. Thank you, Lena Nurfadillah, as the opposition member. The next from Affirmative, the finally speaker is Sonia Putri as the government whip. Time is yours.
Oke, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Walatan sikil abdi manohan inna kalan tarikau addo latan butul jilal pulan ahmad badu. The Honorable Adjudicator, the Honorable Chairperson, the Honorable Timekeeper, the Honorable Affirmative team, the Honorable Opposition team, and the all audience. Okay, I'm Sonia Putri as the final speaker of government whip. Okay, now I want to come to the argument of my team. Okay, as the first speaker side, for a percentage worldwide, 6 billion flight in electric car, worldwide in 2021 more than double shares and account for 9% market share of the global new car market. Electric car represent 71% of light-in car sales in 2021. By December 2021, there were 16 million light-in electric car on the world's road. Many countries have established government incentive for flight-in electric vehicle. Tax credits, subsidies, and other non-monetary incentives will some countries have dropped in face of our selling fossil cars to reduce air pollution and limit climate change. The Tesla Model 3 become the world's best-selling electric car of the all time in early 2020, and in June 2021 it became the first electric car to break 1 million global sales. Previous model with the wide adoption include the Japanese Mitsubishi i-Leaf and the Nissan Leaf. Okay, for the second speaker side, vehicle and people are something that is difficult to spread in our country because the majority of the pollution in Indonesia prefer to drive a vehicle when traveling. Due to the use of non-electric vehicles, there are many impacts such as pollution in Indonesia forward to drive a vehicle when traveling. To the use of non-electric vehicles, there are many impacts of non-electric vehicles. Hazardous gas such as carbon dioxide, hydrocarbon are often found in the smoke emitted by vehicle become less harmful. Gases have a negative impact on the community environmental case of plenty of people that occur when the level of hydrocarbon and carbon dioxide in the blood increase to 60% of the total hemoglobin of the blood or more. Research provides that when we include carbon dioxide with more research and concentration of 250 ppm part per million, it can make people minds. Even if the concentration reaches 1000 ppm, it can cause instant death. In this era, electric vehicle can reduce air pollution by non-electric vehicle. Electric vehicle can also reduce the use of fuel oil because electric vehicle only use electric energy to be able to operate them. And finally, as the third speaker side, the important point that is that electric vehicle can save the climate and our lives, the world's largest source of climate pollution transport. According to if just emission from can and truck are not only bad for our planet, they are bad for our health, and pollution from gasoline and diesel power vehicle cause asthma, bronchitis, cancer, and premature death. Last lifetime will effect on asthma attack, lung damage, and heart condition. The strongest point of owning the electric car is cleansing the planet, environmental and health benefit. Okay, in the conclusion,
we agree to implement and start mass production electric cars so that we can get many new benefits. This article will also reduce our pollution and can save the earth from pollution. Let's take care of our healthy by adopting that can produce an electric car. Zero exhaust emission, dramatically lowering smoke and greenhouse gas emission. Okay, maybe enough from us. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
For the last speaker from Affirmative team, Sister Sonia spent time 4 minutes and 35 seconds.
Okay, thank you, Sister Amelia, the timekeeper. Thank you, Sonia, Archelia, Putri, the government whip. The next from opposition team, Mila and Hasanah as the opposition whip. Time is yours.
Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
The Honorable Siti Professor MPTS Adjudicator in the debate, the Honorable Timekeeper in this debate, the Honorable Mas Arsenani, the Honorable Speaker in Affirmative team, the Honorable Audience and Managing, our speaker in good condition today. As the opposition whip of this debate, I'm Nabilah Hasanah. I will be concluding what all the speakers have been before me. The leader of opposition who focused on the impact of electric cars on the environment. We can listen to what the opposition leader said, that electric cars know how to use battery powers. Of course, the material used by mining has have an effect on the environment. Because if Indonesia provides electric cars with the large number of mining, will certainly increase and have impact on the environment. Followed by deputy of opposition, our second speaker, who focus on security. People are still worried about the safety of electric cars. This concern arises because a number of key components of electric cars are increasingly being connected to internet. They are afraid because electric cars are still considered vulnerable of hacking, ransomware, and other forms of cyber attacks. Next, third speaker, our member opposition who will focus on economic and social issues. I agree with what was said earlier that the cost to be incurred are quite expensive to conventional cars. This consists requires a lot of money for more important things apart from reducing pollution. There are many ways to reducing pollution. Social impact in the community, such as reducing comfort by having the change it first and wasting time and fear of conflict about price in lower class society. Because this motion today for this household, so many team as opposition team will give alternative solution. So our alternative solution is for reducing pollution and traffic jams. Then is that government better to fix in the public transportation and make it more comfortable so that this can be resolved better than electric cars. Before I close this debate, let me point out the strength of my team. Here my team has provided various arguments accompanied by appropriate and factual facts, and also each discussion should work each argument so that our group is clear. So please for educator choose my team as the winner for this debate. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi
wabarakatuh. For the last speaker from opposition team, Mila and Hasanah spent time 3 minutes and 32 seconds.
Okay, thank you, Sister Amelia, the timekeeper. Thank you, Mila and Hasanah, as the opposition whip. Ladies and gentlemen, so that in the conclusion of each group, and finally we are come to the last agenda. We would like to say thanks again for speaker and all of the audience for participating. wabarakatuh.